here with Representative Carter. Representative Carter, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your time. We definitely want to talk about everything that the former president has said today, but we did want to ask you about some breaking news, that FEMA declaration. Just give me general reaction. How is that going to affect people in our district?
Well, the FEMA declaration has been issued, and now we're going to be able to get the funds to help people, particularly in Bryan County, who needed it, who got flooded. So we're just delighted about it. And sorry it took so long, but at the same time, it's here now, and that gives a lot of people a lot of relief.
And, speaking of Bryan County, this one thing the former president talked about today is, those tariffs on foreign automobiles. And specifically, of course, in Bryan County, we have the Hyundai plant. How would something like that, the former president, his big thing is let's bring manufacturing back to the U.S. How could that affect our area?
Well, it's going to impact our area. There's no question about that, because we are becoming a manufacturing hub. Georgia's open for business. 11 years in a row, the number one business in which to do, number one state in which to do business. I mean, people are flocking here, and we're going to have manufacturing. When Donald Trump gets back as president of the United States, he's going to get people back. He's going to get jobs back and manufacturing back to America. That is one of his goals, and I'm just excited about it because we're ready for that here in the Coastal Empire.
Absolutely. And, here in the Coastal Empire, people who live here in and around the area, a lot of people have said to me today, I'm a small business owner. That's, a big reason why I'm here. The former president talks a lot about small businesses as well as corporations. So give me an idea of, a Trump presidency. I know you and I have talked about often how, you really believe Trump is going to win this election. What does that mean for people who are small business owners?
Well, small business owners, as the new businesses, as the manufacturing comes in, as big businesses come in, you have small businesses that are support businesses, if you will. You need barbers, you need beauticians, you need grocery stores, you need all of those things in order to support the people who are coming in. And those manufacturing jobs, they are good paying jobs, and that just flows throughout the economy. It's going to be a great, great experience when he gets back in.
And, last thing I have to ask you about this, you and I have talked about it pretty often, is election security and integrity here in Georgia. The former president talks about it a lot. Just on Friday, we had the State Elections Board pass essentially legislation that would, ensure that they would be hand counting those ballots. We have some legal challenges. Secretary of State has made some comments. So, what are we looking at here? We're only 2.5 months out from this election.
Well, we'll see what the courts say. That is going to be challenged. But at the same time, Georgia's ready this time. We're going into this with our eyes wide open. And thanks to the Election Integrity Act, I'm much more confident that we're going to have an accurate count this time than we did last time, because the Election Integrity Act makes it easier to vote and harder to cheat. So I'm very, very confident going in this election that we're going to get the right results.
And, gotta get your opinion here. We just had some pretty intense, counter protesters out here today on the Harris side of things. We have some pretty intense law enforcement out here as well. And the former president did talk about, during his speech today, some of those assassination attempts. So, has it been pretty hectic organizing all the security? I'm sure you yourself have, been part of that effort as well. Any efforts that have been ramped up since the, last couple issues that he's had with that?
Well, there has. And in fact, there's more funding coming for the Secret Service. And we understand that it's important that we protect. Violence has no place in our society, particularly political violence. We're better than this. We're better than this in America. And the president understands that. Kamala Harris understands that. Everyone understands that. So we understand in Congress that we've got to get more funding to the Secret Service and that we've got to put more focus on this, and we are doing that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Representative Carter. We appreciate your time. We'll definitely have more coverage of this event as people continue to come out of this venue where Trump has just finished speaking. So definitely stay with us for some more coverage. Kim, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Now, Christine, I do have a question for you to ask Congressman Carter. Considering that Georgia is a battleground state, how does he feel about the former president's speech today? Does he think that it is enough to sway those undecided voters?
So we do have a question coming from our anchor in the studio. That great question. Former president's been here today. Harris has been here. He's also been here. Georgia is what a lot of people consider a purple state in our area here in Chatham County. A lot of surrounding areas, go back and forth. What he said here today and what he's, spoken to people about, is that enough to sway some voters who may, have been going towards Harris or towards another candidate?
Well, I think it was substantial what he said today. I mean, he focused on manufacturing. He focused on Made in America, about bringing jobs back to America, about improving our economy. I mean, let's face it. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? That answer to that question is a resounding no. The economy is worse. Inflation is higher. Gas is higher. Groceries are higher. The border is a mess. The border was secure under Trump. He's going to secure it again. And we were well respected on the world stage under Trump, and we're not now. All of those things are going to change under a new Trump presidency.
Absolutely. You know, most people I spoke to out here today, they said the economy was one of the major reasons that they had been out here. And surprisingly, actually, foreign policy was something that a lot of them brought up, which didn't necessarily see in the earlier part of this election. So are those two of the biggest issues that, from your constituents that you hear are the reason why they're going to vote one way or the other?
There's no question about it. People are hurting. People in Georgia are hurting. They're trying to make a decision between buying groceries and buying gas. That's not a good situation to be in. Inflation is running rampant, up 22% since this administration took over. People can't afford houses. Interest rates have been high. Thank goodness they're coming down now. Maybe we can get this economy back on track. If Donald Trump gets back into office, I'm convinced we can get it back on track.
Thank you so much, Representative Carter. Kim, do you have any other last-minute questions for us there from the studio?
No, that's it, Christine. Thank you so much for joining us today and for your continuing coverage. Of course, we have team coverage throughout today, and of course, on our website, WSAV.com, we'll have a wrap of everything that has gone on so far. And as it continues throughout the day, be sure to join us on First News at 4 and then again tonight at 6. That's it for our special report of former President Donald Trump's campaign stop here in Savannah.